In the Philippines, a quiet shift is underway. More families are reconsidering life in the cities, drawn not by glamour, but by the grind of rising bills, stagnant paychecks, and the daily strain of crowded streets. According to PSA and World Bank urban data, Philippine inflation peaked above 6% in 2024, with rent in major areas climbing 15 to 30% over the past 5 years, outpacing average wage growth and squeezing middle-class budgets. Metro Manila alone swells past 13 million residents, amplifying pressures on jobs, safety, and basic needs. This isn't about pointing fingers. It's a trend-based look at how 2025's economic ripples will shape urban living in 2026. As an analyst tracking these patterns, we'll examine the top 10 cities facing the toughest challenges in cost, jobs, and safety, not to shame, but to spotlight opportunities for smarter growth. For the average Filipino family juggling school fees, jeepney fares, and rice prices, understanding these trends means planning ahead. Let's dive into the ranking, starting from number 10. Disclaimer: this analysis is based on public data, expert commentary, and observable trends. Individual experiences may vary. This content is for awareness and discussion, not to criticize any city or its residents. Number 10. Olongapo City. Olongapo City, once buoyed by its strategic port and naval history, now navigates a subtler slowdown as global trade shifts and foreign base activity wanes. Based on 2024 to 2025 economic reports from local government and the Department of Trade and Industry, the city's growth has stabilized but lacks the spark of new industries, projecting steady but unexciting prospects into 2026. Under cost of living pressure, rent and housing prices have risen steadily, with urban expansions driving up monthly rates for modest family homes to levels that strain budgets already hit by food and transport inflation. Utilities, tied to imported energy, add to daily expenses, leaving households rationing power to cover school supplies or weekend outings. For an average family of 4, a teacher, a clerk, and 2 kids, this means tighter grocery lists, as fresh produce costs climb amid supply chain hiccups. Jobs and income stress compound the issue, with job saturation in traditional sectors like shipping and retail limiting fresh opportunities. Wage stagnation persists as contractual work dominates, offering little security for long-term planning. Overcrowded labor markets mean young graduates compete fiercely for entry-level roles, delaying family milestones like homeownership. On safety and urban stress, petty crime trends like theft have ticked up slightly in busier districts, per police logs, while traffic congestion clogs key arteries during peak hours. Infrastructure overload shows in aging roads prone to potholes, and the city's coastal vulnerability to typhoon flooding heightens worries for low-lying neighborhoods. Imagine a parent navigating flooded streets after a late shift, weighing the relief of a safe commute against the exhaustion. Urban planners warn that without diversified investments, these pressures could deepen. But Olongapo's resilient community spirit offers a foundation for balanced recovery. As we move to number 9, we'll see similar echoes in the south. Number 9. Zamboanga City. Zamboanga City, a vibrant gateway to Mindanao's diverse cultures, grapples with perceptions that linger from past unrest, even as stability improves. Local government reports indicate that 2025's trade logistics challenges, amplified by fuel volatility, are set to influence 2026's urban dynamics, tempering the city's natural allure with practical hurdles. Cost of living pressure is evident in high logistics fees that inflate food and transport costs, making staples like fish and rice pricier despite the city's agricultural roots. Rent for family-sized units in central areas has edged up, while utilities fluctuate with national energy trends, forcing households to choose between aircon relief in humid months or savings for emergencies. An average family, perhaps a fisherman and a market vendor with school-aged children, finds their weekly budget eroded, turning simple meals into calculated decisions. In jobs and income stress, private sector growth lags, with saturation in informal trade and limited formal hires creating a bottleneck. Wages stagnate below inflation, and contractual gigs in ports offer sporadic pay, heightening anxiety over healthcare or education funds. The overcrowded labor pool draws migrants, intensifying competition for stable roles and stalling upward mobility. Safety and urban stress include lingering security perceptions that deter evening outings, alongside rising petty theft reports in markets. Traffic builds in narrow streets, and infrastructure gaps like delayed road repairs overload daily commutes. Disaster vulnerability looms with earthquake risks and occasional flooding from the Zamboanga Peninsula's rivers, testing family resilience during monsoons. Picture a mother double-checking locks after a long day, her mind on both neighborhood whispers and the next jeepney delay. Based on housing and inflation trends from 2024 to 2025, experts note these strains. Yet Zamboanga's community ties and port potential signal paths to renewal. Transitioning northward, number 8 reveals growth's double edge. Number 8. Iloilo City. Iloilo City, emerging as a Visayan hub of innovation and heritage, faces the paradox of progress in 2025's rapid urbanization. According to Department of Human Settlements data, housing demand has surged with infrastructure booms, forecasting intensified pressures for 2026 that test the city's poised ascent. Cost of living pressure manifests in escalating housing prices, as new developments outpace supply, pushing rent for two-bedroom family apartments beyond comfortable reach. Food and transport inflation, linked to regional supply chains, hikes daily fares and market prices, while utilities rise with expanded grid demands. For a typical family, a nurse, an IT support worker, and teens, this translates to deferred family trips or home-cooked meals stretched thinner, as bills eclipse modest raises. Jobs and income stress arise from saturation in booming sectors like BPO and construction, where contractual positions proliferate without wage parity. Stagnation hits as entry-level pay lags inflation, and the influx of talent overcrowds markets, leaving mid-career workers vying for promotions amid economic cooling. Safety and urban stress involve petty crime upticks in transitional areas, per local reports, coupled with traffic snarls from ongoing roadworks. Infrastructure strain from growth overloads bridges and drainage, and flood vulnerability in lowlands amplifies monsoon woes. Envision a father navigating detours home, balancing work fatigue with flood alerts on his phone. Urban planners warn of these growing pains, but Iloilo's strategic investments in sustainable projects hint at equitable futures. As we climb to number 7, cooler climes bring their own crowds. Number 7. Baguio City. Baguio City, the Philippines' cherished summer capital, contends with year-round tourism's unintended weight in 2025. City tourism office figures show visitor numbers rebounding strongly, projecting into 2026 a delicate balance between charm and capacity that urban analysts are closely watching. Cost of living pressure peaks with exorbitant rent, as transient demand inflates prices for permanent family dwellings far above income levels. Food and transport costs swell during peaks, with imported goods and jeepney queues adding to utilities strained by highland demands. An average household, a teacher, a small business owner, and growing kids, grapples with water rationing fees layered atop grocery hikes, curtailing weekend picnics in the parks they cherish. Jobs and income stress stem from tourism-heavy saturation, where service roles dominate with stagnant wages and seasonal contracts. Overcrowded markets see locals competing with seasonal workers, delaying stable career paths and family savings goals. Safety and urban stress include petty theft rises in crowded spots, as reported by police, alongside chronic traffic jams on winding roads. Infrastructure overload hits water systems hardest, with shortages chronicled in local advisories, and earthquake vulnerability underscores the pine-clad slopes. Think of a parent queuing at dawn for water, the city's fog mirroring quiet frustrations. Based on 2024 to 2025 environmental trends, experts urge carrying capacity measures, yet Baguio's innovative spirit in green initiatives promises harmony. Heading to number 6, we find sweeter challenges in the Visayas. Number 6. Bacolod City. Bacolod City, known for its lively festivals and agricultural heart, encounters subdued momentum in 2025's labor landscape. Regional wage board updates highlight modest hikes amid broader economic moderation, setting a cautious tone for 2026's family-centric living. Cost of living pressure builds through rising food prices, rooted in farm-to-table dependencies vulnerable to weather, alongside transport inflation from fuel swings. Rent for family homes inches up in expanding suburbs, and utilities reflect national trends, compelling belt-tightening. For a standard family, a sugarcane worker, a retail clerk, and school children, this means portioned mascara smiles, with evenings planned around affordable eats rather than outings. Jobs and income stress are pronounced in the service-dominated market, with low wage growth despite minimum adjustments, fostering reliance on unstable contracts. Saturation in hospitality and trade overcrowds opportunities, stalling income ladders for young professionals eyeing family futures. Safety and urban stress feature petty crime fluctuations in bustling areas, traffic buildup on arterial roads, and infrastructure strains from uneven development. Flooding risks from nearby rivers heighten seasonal alerts, burdening low-income zones. Local government reports indicate these patterns, but community programs offer buffers. Imagine a vendor tallying tips under streetlights, safety a constant companion. drawing from PSA trends. Bacolod's agritech potential could ease these, fostering steadier tomorrows. Now, to number 5, where island vibrancy meets gridlock. Number 5. Cebu City. Cebu City, the Queen City of the South and a beacon of commerce, wrestles with 2025's explosive expansion. Metro Cebu Development Council data reveals rent surges and flood events underscoring vulnerabilities, trends likely to persist into 2026's bustling rhythm. Cost of living pressure intensifies with condo and apartment rents ballooning from investor influx, outstripping family affordability. Food and transport inflation, exacerbated by port dependencies, layers on utility spikes, shrinking disposable income. An average Cebuano family, a call center agent, a driver, and kids in uniform, navigates this by carpooling to school, their laughter tempered by rising polluto bills. Jobs and income stress thrive in intense competition across BPO and retail, with saturation yielding contractual overload and wage stagnation below living costs. Overcrowded markets demand constant upskilling, pressuring mid-level earners to multitask for family stability. Safety and urban stress encompass petty robbery upticks in transit hubs, among the nation's worst traffic snarls per MMDA analogs, and infrastructure overload from rapid builds. Flood-prone zones, hit hard in 2025 monsoons, evoke evacuations and lost workdays. Urban planners warn of these flashpoints, yet Cebu's resilient ports signal adaptive strengths. Visualize a commuter inching through rain-slicked chaos, phone buzzing with delay alerts. As we proceed to number 4, Mindanao's largest city presents measured paces. Number 4. Davao City. Davao City, a model of disciplined growth in Mindanao, experiences a measured slowdown in 2025's outer expansions. City Investment Board insights point to infrastructure gaps beyond the core, influencing 2026's trajectory for this durian-rich powerhouse. Cost of living pressure arises from high fuel costs, rippling into transport and food prices, with logistics inflating daily goods. Rent rises in peripheral areas lag central stability but still challenge families, while utilities mirror national volatility. For a typical Davaoenyo household, a farmer, a security guard, and eager learners, this means budgeting eagle-eyed for market hauls, joyrides swapped for practical treks. Jobs and income stress reflect slowing expansion in agri-processing, with saturation in services leading to contractual prevalence and wage plateaus. Overcrowded labor from regional draws intensifies hunts for reliable pay, hindering savings for education or health. Safety and urban stress include steady petty crime in markets, traffic easing centrally but clogging outskirts, and infrastructure shortfalls like unpaved roads. Disaster vulnerability to earthquakes and lahar flows from Mount Apo adds layered caution. Local reports indicate these urban pulses, but ecozone plans promise connectivity. Picture a night watch scanning horizons, family dinners a anchor amid flux. Based on 2024 to 2025 growth data, Davao's policy focus could unlock broader prosperity. Up to number 3, where the capital's sprawl intensifies. Number 3. Quezon City. Quezon City, Metro Manila's expansive nerve center, bears the brunt of 2025's capital area strains. NCR Police and Planning Office data show traffic and complaint volumes as harbingers, projecting amplified urban tests for 2026. Cost of living pressure surges with rent escalating faster than wages, crowding family options in high-demand zones. Food and transport inflation, fueled by commuter flows, compounds utility demands, eroding margins. An average Quezon family, a government clerk, a freelancer, and commuting teens, adapts with shared rides and bulk buys, dreams of park days deferred. Jobs and income stress hit from saturation in admin and creative fields, with contractual gigs rampant and stagnation outpacing adjustments. Overcrowded markets, drawing nationwide talent, prolong job searches and cap earnings potential. Safety and urban stress feature rising petty crime complaints in dense barangays, severe congestion choking EDSA extensions, and infrastructure overload in aging sewers. Flooding risks during typhoons exacerbate evacuations. Urban planners warn of these intersections, yet community hubs foster hope. Envision a worker weaving through honks at dusk, safety apps at the ready. As we near the top, number 2 embodies the capital's core crunch. Number 2. Manila City. Manila City, the historic pulse of the archipelago, confronts 2025's deepening density head-on. DENR and urban development reports highlight air and housing metrics, forecasting 2026 as a pivotal year for this enduring metropolis. Cost of living pressure is acute in limited affordable housing, with rents soaring amid scarcity and overcrowding. Food and transport inflation burdens narrow streets, while utilities strain outdated grids, hiking family outlays. For a Manila household, a vendor, an office aide, and wide-eyed youth, this spells vigilant budgeting, fiestas simplified to neighborhood gatherings. Jobs and income stress persist in saturated commerce hubs, favoring unstable contracts over steady climbs, with wages trailing costs. Overcrowded labor draws migrants, intensifying rivalries for upward paths. Safety and urban stress involve high crime perceptions from petty thefts, extreme congestion in heritage lanes, and aging infrastructure buckling under loads. Poor air quality, per 2025 indices, and flood vulnerability in Esteros heighten daily vigilance. Based on World Bank trends, these layers test resilience, but heritage revitalization glimmers. Imagine a family crossing Intramuros at twilight, history mingling with modern sighs. At number 1, a northern neighbor amplifies the metropolis's echoes. Number 1. Caloocan City. Caloocan City, a northern gateway to Metro Manila's energy, embodies 2025's densest urban pressures. PSA population estimates and local economic briefs reveal high-density strains, poised to define 2026's challenges for this industrious enclave. Cost of living pressure weighs heavy with dense population driving up rent for cramped family spaces, alongside food and transport inflation in bustling terminals. Utilities overload shared lines, amplifying daily tallies. An average Caloocan family, a factory worker, a homemaker, and striving students, manages through communal pots and early market runs, aspirations tempered by arithmetic. Jobs and income stress peak in limited economic mobility, with saturation in manufacturing yielding contractual instability and wage freezes. Overcrowded markets trap workers in cycles, curtailing savings for brighter tomorrows. Safety and urban stress include safety concerns from petty crimes in packed alleys, traffic knots at rail crossings, and infrastructure overload in narrow grids. High density heightens flood and quake exposures, per disaster maps. Local government reports indicate these stressors, yet youth programs spark change. Visualize a parent locking gates at nightfall, stories of perseverance shared over dinner. Urban analysts note Caloocan's pivotal role, with targeted policies able to elevate its spirit. As 2026 unfolds, these trends paint a portrait of the Philippines at a crossroads. Cities like Caloocan and Manila, Cebu and Davao, straining under the weight of progress, yet brimming with untapped vitality. From PSA and World Bank urban data, we see inflation's lingering shadow and wage gaps widening, but also glimmers, modest job creations in eco-zones, infrastructure bids in flood-vulnerable zones, and community-led water initiatives in highlands. For average Filipino families, this means more than statistics. It's the quiet resolve to adapt, from rationed jeepney rides to shared neighborhood watches. The good news? Cities aren't doomed, they're dynamic. With better planning, like inclusive housing policies, diversified job training, and resilient disaster frameworks, these urban hearts can pulse stronger, fostering equity over endurance. What if 2026 marks not just challenges, but the turning point where Filipino ingenuity reclaims our skylines? Share your city's story in the comments. Have these trends touched your home? Like and subscribe to Discovering the Earth for more grounded insights, and together, let's build awareness toward brighter urban tomorrows.